I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, so I think this is my time. So that's when I then left and went to co-found a manufacturing business.
And what is that experience like?
Wow. You discover that entrepreneurship in itself, in theory, is a fraction of the entrepreneurship in practice. And there is no book or, there's no lecture really that can prepare you for the entrepreneurial journey. And so for me, quitting work and deciding finally that, I wanted to go full-time into entrepreneurship, it was exciting in the context that I finally had to be unboxed and be able to execute my ideas without, the bureaucracy of an established entity, without, just being able to implement my ideas. So that was the great feeling. And then come the reality of the enterprise. So when we got in and we set up our factory, with a factory in Rua, we set up a factory and we were renting a very large factory.
What were you manufacturing?
We were manufacturing, we were in the detergents and edible oils industry. Our first product was soap. Green bar soap, and we had ambitions. I'll tell you all about it, but we had great ambitions to do massive things. So we got in, we're renting this huge factory, and then we discover on the first day that we get there, we're trying to bring our machines in. We discover first day that we get here that there's a huge electricity bill. So we went for like 2 weeks without being connected by ZESA because we had to go back and forth and negotiate how we're going to extinguish that bill. So that was the first sort of
baptism of fire.
Baptism of fire, because we thought, we're getting in first day, we're manufacturing, after a week we're selling, with all of these excitable ambitions, but reality was telling us a different story, and I was also learning a great deal. So for me, it was one of the most enriching experiences for me. So yeah, we get in there, we discover there's a ZESA bill, and then the next thing, we make our product. ZESA is connected finally, we make our product, our first batch comes out, it was terrible. Our first batch was terrible, so we had to remake that first batch. So you can imagine now you're sort of bootstrapping, you're having to remake the first batch. So you're
How had you funded the first batch?
Well, we had come across, we'd come along as colleagues, and then we'd financed the business as a collective. We had sort of done a little bit of a private equity transaction as early on as that. We'd brought in a couple of guys to bring in a little bit of money to finance the business. So yeah, we ran our batch. It comes out terrible. We have to remake the batch. We still have a little bit of working capital on the side. We put it towards remaking the batch. Now we are incurring double the cost in terms of making just one batch of production. So we thought, we were past the troubles, but that wasn't it. We're actually getting into
more trouble.
So now we want to sell to our mainstream, because our business model was structured around selling into mainstream. Because there are a lot of manufacturers, I'll tell you, who are manufacturing products, but they're just selling to tuck shops and all that sort of thing. But we wanted to go in mainstream. So that was my big vision, because I was sort of steering the vision. That was my big vision. And then we get in there, we approach these big retailers. The big retailers give us a checklist. And amongst that checklist, there's one that says you've got to be VAT, you've got to be VAT compliant. So we think that should be easy. We go to Zimra. We want to be VAT compliant. We want to volunteer to pay tax. And then Zimra tells us that you must have at least traded for 6 months. But we haven't traded for 6 months.